Hello everyone, I am your host Gautam Sodi and I'm here to preview India's second game of the ICC Champions Trophy against Sri Lanka, which will begin in a short while from now. The Kia Oval in London, which will play the host of the game number 8 between two Asian giants, is all up and ready, and I hope so are you all. As promised earlier, we have roped in the former India wicket-keeper batsman Mr. Vijay Dahiya for the discussion. But unlike last time, we won't just settle for the discussion, but we will be bringing you a small, exciting segment later on. What is it? You'll have to wait and watch. So everyone, stick your eyeballs to the screen as it's time to bring Mr. Dahiya into the frame. Thank you, Mr. Dahiya, for joining us on SportzWiki.
Always a pleasure.
We'll start with India versus Pakistan. It was an emphatic win for Virat Kohli men. 124 runs. They batted well. They didn't really field well. They bowled exceptionally well. What do you make out of it?
I think it's a perfect start, to be very honest. When you have a game like this, we've discussed about it before the game as well, and we said India have more to lose rather gain because we were superior side and we've showed that on the park. That's disappointed with the fielding effort because we have set the standard really high in last couple of seasons, especially the captain set the tone for the side. That'll be the only thing because when you lose or win, you always take something away from the game. So they'll be keeping an eye on that aspect of the game as well. Otherwise, a brilliant start. Yuvraj getting run. And the most important thing, openers giving a solid start. That was very, very important in these kind of conditions. So Indian team will be very happy overall.
Well, heading into the second game, which is also an important one against the Icelanders, the Sri Lankan side. Indian team, they would be expecting Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma to join the party as early as possible. They would want them to play at least 20 overs without losing a wicket and put up, if not anything, 100 runs on the board.
It depends what sort of a condition. Are you batting first? Are you chasing? Is it a sunny day? You'll change your strategy according to the conditions. But having runs, behind their name will always give them a confidence. We know what kind of player both of them are, especially Rohit. Rohit is a completely different player when he's confident. His confidence is high, and that's what we've seen. The kind of inning that he's played and the kind of innings he's built. That's another thing that you talk about when you talk about these kind of players. So overall, you'll definitely be looking for a good start. And yeah, especially that's what you want in a condition like this, that if your openers can bat 15-20 overs, half the battle is done as far as the batting is concerned.
Well, let's roll back the watch. October 7, 2000 Champions Trophy. Yuvraj Singh, Zaheer Khan, Mr. Vijay Dahiya. They all were there in the game. Yuvraj Singh went on to score a magnificent 84. 17 years down the lane, a matured person, a matured batsman. But what a fantastic innings from a stalwart.
Oh, absolutely. And he showed you what he's capable of. I mean, when we sit back, and a lot of people who saw that inning, and when they try to analyze what happened in the 17 years, they feel that they miss out on a champion. He's done really well as far as the shorter version of the game. I think he should have been up there as far as the test match is concerned as well. He's still as a champion player. What a package. And I think he showed the glass in his first tournament, continued in a same manner over the years. Fighted so many things off the ground as well, and that's what you look into a role model. And he's been a champion player, set the standard really high as far as the shorter format of the game is concerned, and still giving what you want from your experienced guy.
A champion player for someone who has played alongside, who has rubbed shoulder with Yuvraj Singh. Well, Mr. Dahiya, talking about Yuvraj Singh, there was something special, something surprising which came after his dismissal. Not many would have thought that Hardik Pandya would be the one who would be toppling Mahendra Singh Dhoni to bat. If not anything, then the one remaining over. But it was a right choice from Anil Kumble.
Oh, absolutely. And a very technical choice as well. You just rewind and see what happens. I mean, like if Mahendra Singh Dhoni is batting and a left-arm spinner is bowling, we have seen there is a bit of a problem. Not a problem, but he's not as fluent as he is against the spinners. And the other thing, which is a long shot, and that's what you want in a side, when Pandya walking on the field thinking that my team is giving me this responsibility, and somebody who he adores, who he thinks that is a champion finisher, is in the sitting in the dugout. That's the kind of confidence that you want to give to your youngster, and that worked wonders. Not only in this inning, they had nothing to lose. He could have hit 1-6 or even get out on the first ball, but still that responsibility that you given it to him, and it's a statement that you made for the other guys as well. Stand up, get counted. This is the team. If you do well, go out there and earn it. And I think it was a brilliant move. Worked well as well.
Hardik Pandya coming above Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Is this a hint of something big coming in years?
At least you have an option now. I mean, like, unless until you don't try, you don't know how it's going to work for you. But I still feel if there are more balls, you'll have Mahendra Singh Dhoni come in, and it was just an over. I can imagine it was 10 overs, or let's say 6 or 7 overs. Platform is set for Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I mean, like, now you have an option, you can do that as well. But if there are more balls or inning to be built, Mahendra Singh Dhoni will walk into the park before Hardik Pandya.
As mentioned earlier, batting well, done. Bowling well, done. Sloppy fielding. They can't really carry this kind of form heading into important games against Sri Lanka and surely against South Africa.
I think they're a smart side. They're a very professional side. It happens. You have one of those days and you just want to think, just want to forget about it. If you do something consistently, that's something that you worry about. But they have not done that. I mean, like, our fielding standard, like I just mentioned, is top notch in last couple of seasons. But Virat Kohli is somebody who set the tone for it. You just want to leave it there and just go into the next game with a positive frame of mind and parking yourself. And a good win like this will definitely boost the dressing room as well. It was not a beating an opposition, it was beating a Pakistan. That's what happened. We've been saying that Indian side is much better on paper. They have shown that on the park as well. But one hurdle, beating Pakistan, is out of their mind, concentrating on the next thing and concentrating on the next 2 points to get into the last 4.
A new captain at the helm. They have had a good series against England. They have good command over 3 teams in the 3 matches that has happened. Now comes to match number 2 against Sri Lanka. After what India displayed on the field at Birmingham, do you see this as a cakewalk for Virat Kohli's side?
Not really. When you have top 8 teams playing against each other, I don't think so any game will be a cakewalk. And I think Indian team is experienced enough not to make that mistake. Sri Lanka has, done that to us in the past as well. And Sri Lanka beating India, I won't even consider as an upset. I mean, like, I believe that, they're a very good side. They have a very good youngsters, and they play much better as a team rather than other Asian sides. If you look around, they had a very good preparation as well. They were in South Africa, so pace or these kind of conditions, it's not going to be a problem for them. They played a couple of practice games in which they crossed 300 with the knees. So I don't think so. It's going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be a good game. I see a better game than Pakistan.
There's something about Sri Lanka. If they play a bilateral series, they don't tend to perform up to their potential. But when it comes to ICC event, they're right up there. Despite the fact they don't have their stalwart Sangakkara, Jayawardene, they've still got players who can up the ante and play as per their potential.
They're not the only one. If you look, come ICC tournaments, you see New Zealand as well. I mean, like, they change their color like anyone and project themselves as the contenders. Sri Lanka, you just mentioned, like I said, they are not just dependent on a couple of names, and that's a good sign. That's a good sign for a side who plays as a team. It's a building team. Let's not forget about when you have people like Mahela Jayawardene, Sangakkara leaving the side, and last 18 months they didn't have services of Malinga as well. He's making a comeback. Angelo Matthews, luckily he's available for this game, which is a good sign for them. They'll be missing Taranga. They won't be missing Taranga as a captain. They've been missing him as a batsman. He got 100 odd in a practice game. Played really well in the first game as well. Missing him will be a big miss. He's making a comeback after 4 or 5 years. He missed out 4 or 5 years. And I heard Sangakkara saying that, that was a big miss for somebody of his caliber not to give 4 or 5 years to an international cricket. So they will miss him. But there are a couple of very exciting youngsters in their side who can turn the game on their head.
Well, since you have mentioned experience and you have mentioned players who have missed out in the crucial years, Sri Lanka, they've got players like Novan Kulasekara, they've got Tisara Pereira who've got experience on their back. But still, it's maybe the time for them to stand up, to take up the challenge and perform on the stage where it matters the most.
They do that. I mean, like, on and off, if you see, they do that. I mean, like, if you look at the side, there are a couple of sides who work in 2 units. There'll be a batting unit and a bowling unit. They worked like that. Kulasekara was there when Malinga was not there. Malinga had carried the load for so many years on his strong shoulders. Making a comeback, he's not the same Malinga. But what happens is when he walks on the park, the others get that sort of a confidence. When an experienced guy put his arm around a youngster and say that you can do it, you see things happening. We saw that in IPL. Malinga putting his hand around Bumrah, and Bumrah done wonders. I think he can do that with his Sri Lankan side as well. There are a couple of guys, who can step up and take the responsibility in a big game. And you want to showcase what you made of in a big games like this on an international stage.
Well, putting the onus on Lasith Malinga, despite age not being on his side, he would still be a threat for Team India. What do you see? What all plans Virat Kohli and the team they need to make, despite knowing the fact that he's still possibly, if not the best, then one of the best death bowlers in the world?
He's been outstanding. There's no doubt about that. But the only thing that I feel that making a comeback is always difficult, and always difficult when you make a comeback in this age. I mean, like, he's not getting any younger. The other thing which I feel will work in favor of the Indian batsman is that there was an aura sort of a thing that, in this IPL I've seen him being a bit expensive, and it's a mindset. Certain bowler that you start thinking, I have a chance against him, and it's just all about thinking, and that's what Indian batsman will feel against him. He won't be that much of a threat as far as before the game start, that you're thinking about what he can give you, because he's been one-man army for so many years. But recent past, he's not his usual self. So that's one thing that Indian batsmen will think about it, and they'll be putting pressure on him from the word go.
I think talking about the Sri Lankan side, they've got the good pace attack. They've got youngsters who can bowl 140, 145k. But something which really misses out seems to be the spin department. They don't have the services of Rangana Herat anymore. They've got Sandakan, they've got Prasanna, they've got young spinners. But they're yet to prove themselves. They are yet to stand up and take up the challenge.
I think that's a big hole to fill in. I mean, like somebody like Muralidharan is not playing, and then you mention another champion spinner not being in the 15. And the other problem, what happens is that it happens especially in the Asian countries, that we start comparing. If some big name is missing, the other guy, youngster who's making his debut or playing in the beginning of his career, we start comparing those guys to the champion bowlers. It's not easy. They don't have that kind of spinners, but still, I mean, like, they have the bowling unit, like I just mentioned. They know their role, which is very, very important. And there's another thing: when you don't have too much pressure on you, you tend to perform better. You tend to understand the situation and try and understand that what is my role in the side, and you play according to that.
Well, if not anything, then Sri Lanka, they would be entering into this contest as the underdogs. They still have got good players. They've got a good momentum with them. But I think Indian team, they've got a notch ahead. In terms of momentum, in terms of what they're getting, what they're bringing on the table, it's a notch ahead of Sri Lanka.
I think they don't mind that. There'll be pressure on India. If you see that underdogs, fair enough. They won the World Cup. Everybody thought they're underdogs. They have changed the whole scenario. They are the one who started using the first 15 overs with Jayasuriya and Kaluvatarna. They changed the whole setup by that sort of a thought. And once the games start, I guess all these talks just stay out of the ground, and it's what you do there on the field. The game against England, I think the first 10 overs they batted really brilliantly, and they were very much in the game, and they were giving a run for their money to the English guys. But the experience was not there. Like somebody needed in the middle order to carry that through. That didn't happen. Now the captain Matthews is coming back. I think he can hold the fort as far as the middle order is concerned. They can definitely give a challenge to any side in this competition.
Well, as experts, they have over the years they've said that your best batsman needs to bat up the order. Talking about Angelo Matthews, he seems to be the best out there in the Sri Lankan side. You see him coming up the order maybe to number 3, number 4, and asking Dinesh Chandimal to accompany him up there so as to just settle the base and ask the lower order to capitalize on it later on.
I think that's one thing which is went against Angelo Matthews. A lot of people have said that the kind of talent he possesses, he should bat a little higher in the batting order. I don't see him batting at 3 at all. That's not a possibility. Even if he bats at 4 or 5, it all depends on what sort of situation you're in. He's got a 95 odd in a practice game, so he's among the runs. Unfortunately, missed out in the first game because of the injury, and that's been happening kind of regularly with him. That's another setback for that side, and setback personally for him as well. When you're getting runs, you don't want to sit out of the park. You want to be on the park, contributing for your side. But even if he bats at number 4 or 5, that's a good number for him, and he can control the game from there.
More often than not, we have not seen Indian captain making too many changes heading into a big tournament. Since India, they have done well as a unit. All those 11 players have done good on field. Do you see Ravichandran Ashwin anyhow making the cut into the side for this game?
I think that can be a possibility. Pandya bowling well, that's another thing. That's another plus point. And you can think that, you can have Ashwin back in your side, have a little longish tail, but consider Jadeja as an all-rounder, Ashwin as an all-rounder, Pandya as an all-rounder, and have more bowling firepower to your playing 11. That's a possibility. That's the only way I can see Ashwin coming back into the side. One batsman getting out of the side and Ashwin coming in. And why not? I mean, according to the situation, you can do that. But when your things are working really well, there's no need to tinker with it too much. And that's what Virat Kohli has done in the past as well. Mahendra Singh Dhoni has done the same thing as well. If there's no need, why to change too many things? I don't see too many changes in the Indian side as well, as far as if there's an injury, you can't help that. Otherwise, everybody's played their part beautifully.
Let's point our fingers towards the Pakistan game. Batsmen, as like bowlers, they backed it in tandem. Virat Kohli, Yuvraj Singh, openers, they all scored half centuries. What was the best part, according to you, for that batting lineup?
I think the start that we got, that was one question mark. Yuvraj getting run or Virat Kohli getting run is never been a problem. Especially Virat getting run has never been a problem. Before we picked up the 15, there was a question mark: who's gonna be in the first 15? Is Shikhar gonna make the cut? Will he be in the 15? Not only made in the 15, made in the 11, and made it count when it matters the most. And that's another thing about him. Come the ICC tournament, come the big tournaments, he always delivers, and that's what he's done. And done in the first game. I'm like, when you do avail the opportunity in the first go, it's a statement that you make for the other team as well. And then they start thinking about his plus point rather than thinking about that he's not among the runs. That you're as good as your last inning, and that's what both of them have done. I like the way Rohit paced his inning. That was another thing to watch out. They have given enough time. That's what Yuvraj Singh had said after the match, that the platform that they got, gave them enough time to build the inning, which they have done. Virat Kohli was struggling a bit, and so it's a difficult word to use when we talk about Virat Kohli, struggling a bit with his timing. But once he passed his 50, he changed the whole format of the whole scenario of the game, and it's a good sign. Crossing 300, losing only 3 wickets, top notch start by the Indians.
Mr. There, before we wrap up, just a straightforward question. Could India be the second side to make it to the semi-finals of the ICC Champions Trophy today?
Looks like that. Looks like that the way we have played. Again, I'll say that if you look on paper, we look like a very solid, strong side. But, there is another thing that you have to consider when you're playing right now in England. The kind of conditions are there. A lot of things depends on the condition as well. Rain is playing a bit of a spoiled spot as far as the outcomes are concerned. And that's the reason why I've seen a couple of teams changing their strategy. According to the weather as well. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I see a good game, but I see India ahead as far as Sri Lanka is concerned.
Well, Mr. Vijay Dahiya, he sees India be the second side to be walking into the semi-final spot. But we are not ending that discussion over here. As mentioned earlier, I've said we've got a little segment for you all. And surprisingly, we've got a small rapid-fire round with a former India wicket-keeper batsman. He'll be having a tough time answering those questions. But Mr. Vijay Dahiya, it would be fast, quick. One shot, one answer. And we'll be starting it right now.
I'm a wicket-keeper. Normally, I receive fast things, but then try and handle than what you're throwing at me.
Well, definitely, he's a wicket-keeper. Let's not forget that. Okay, Mr. Dahiya, now first question is, best memory on the cricket field?
I think playing for India. Nothing can beat that.
Favorite ground to bat?
I got a 50-odd against Sri Lanka. Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore is my favorite ground.
Yes, Chinnaswamy Stadium, favorite ground for a lot many batsmen in the world right now. Your best innings?
Like I just mentioned, I was the first Indian wicket-keeper to get a 15 in One Day International. I think that speaks something for myself. Wicket-keepers have done wonders after that. But yeah, that's very special and very close to me.
Those who haven't heard this, please put this accolade into your notebook right now. All right, Mr. Dahiya, my fourth question. Memory of debut alongside Yuvraj Singh and Zaheer Khan?
I think both of them were youngster at that time when they made their debut. I made my debut when I was 27, so I've been around the circuit for too long. But yeah, like I just mentioned, first game, being in the side and straight away playing the game, that was very, very important for me. Special, very special memory.
What's that feeling of making a test debut at your home ground?
I think I was a bit scared, to be very honest, making a home debut. I got up in the morning, just rolled the window and just rolled the curtains and saw, I said, is it raining or something like that? There is a little bit of an extra pressure when you're making a debut at your home ground, but there's a special feeling as well. Given a cap by Saurav Ganguly, that is another thing I'll always cherish. But yeah, I was a bit tensed to make a debut at the home ground.
A good batsman, a better coach. You have coached two sides. Kolkata Knight Riders, Delhi team. Your favorite?
I think very lucky to get a break with Delhi side, to be very honest. I was playing a year before I made my debut as a coach. Delhi will be my pick. As I know KKR, we win 2 championships, but with Delhi, my first year as a coach, we won the Ranji Trophy after 15 years of gap. That is something will always stay with me, and yeah, I'll prefer Delhi rather than KKR.
Alongside you might have been on the other side of the story when Sachin Tendulkar, Virendra Sehwag were there on the crease. Whose innings, whose batting you loved the most?
I think that you can put them in two different categories. I mean, like if you follow, not me, I mean, like anybody of my age around that time who worshipped Sachin Tendulkar, and everything that he does was just something to follow to. But the way Virender Sehwag is entertained, I've seen Virender Sehwag making debut under my captaincy. And the only thing is, when he made the debut, a lot of people said at that moment, he's different talent. He's a phenomenal talent. There was only one question mark: can he take the same level of the game to the next stage? Oh wow, boy! He took that game to the next level with the top class bowlers. He didn't change anything as far as his game is concerned. He backed himself. So as an entertainer is concerned, Virender Sehwag is up there.
Virender Sehwag, okay. Sachin Tendulkar, well. Not many would like this.
It's my answer.
Well,
I'm not answering for anyone else.
Yes, definitely. I think apart
It's an
from
entertainer.
Yes, as an entertainer, he was possibly the best after Sir Vivian Richards. But last few questions for you. So you being the coach, you must have advised many players, everyone out there. What was the best piece of advice you ever received?
I think the time that I made my debut, that was a time when Saurav Ganguly was building a team. So it was more like the advice that you can give to yourself rather than receiving any advice from anyone else. I think it was a phase of Indian cricket where the survival was the motto of the side. But today, if you look around and see that the way youngsters are going, they're fearless. I think I wish I had that sort of a mindset around that time, backed myself more. But I made my debut kind of, late. 27 is not a normal age when you make a debut, especially nowadays. So I didn't get much of advice around that time. You had to watch your own back, and that's what I've done, whatever little bit I have played.
Everyone has got someone to inspire them. Who was your favorite personality who really inspired you?
I think it was my family. They backed me from a very young age, and it happens with a lot of people. I mean, cricketers, it's very difficult to just pinpoint one person. You have so many people. You have so many people who help you to get where you reach, wherever you reach as your journey. There are coaches who discover you when you are in school. There are coaches when you're playing for your school. There are people. There are friends in the colony. There are the family. But for me, I think what stands out for me, my two brothers, they backed me up, and that what stands with me even today.
Well, definitely family is not only thing, it's everything. Mr. Dahiya, last question. Something, which is a bit dicey to answer. Anything you feel you have missed out on your career?
Not really. Not at all. I mean, sometimes when I sit and we discuss about a couple of things, I think didn't miss out. I mean, you look around, you see, and I'll be very honest with you, it's not a tricky question. There are far better. I feel at times there are far better players than me who didn't make it to the Indian side. I feel I'm very lucky. Whatever I've done, whatever I achieved is a blessing, and I think I didn't miss out on anything at all.
Well, he certainly didn't miss out on anything at all, and we at SportzWiki really didn't miss out either. Talking about India versus Sri Lanka game, which will be starting from a short while from now. We have discussed teams, we have discussed the strengths and weakness of both the sides, and we have got the opinion of Mr. Vijay Dahiya on his personal thoughts on what he thinks who would be the favorite heading into this match. Well, it's time for you all to check your eyeballs to the television as the game number 2 for Team India will be starting. And yes, 1.3 billion people, we all hope that the men in blue walk out as winners. Thank you for joining us on SportzWiki. We'll get you the update. We'll get you all the information. And surely, Mr. Vijay Dahiya for the next match against South Africa. Thank you for joining us.